Gelaman Wazir was more than just a poet. He was a voice for the voiceless. A young man who dared to speak truth to power. Gelaman was a Pashtun, born into a world of conflict and struggle. He knew the sting of injustice from a young age, but he also knew the power of words. Gelaman's poetry became his weapon. He used it to denounce violence, to demand rights, to awaken the conscience of a nation. His words resonated with the Pashtun youth. They saw in him a reflection of their own anger and frustration. Gelaman became a symbol of hope, a beacon of defiance against oppression. He joined the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, which sought to bring peace and justice to the Pashtun people. Gelaman's voice became a powerful force within the movement. He traveled from village to village, reciting his poems. He ignited a fire in the hearts of the Pashtun people. His words were a call to action, a demand for recognition, a plea for peace. Gelaman's courage inspired millions, but it also made him a target. The Pakistani government saw him as a threat. His words challenged their authority. They tried to silence him, but Gelaman refused to be silenced. He continued to speak out even when he knew the risks. His bravery would cost him dearly. The night was dark. The attackers melted into the night, leaving him bleeding in the street. It was a cowardly attack, an attempt to silence a voice that spoke too loudly for the comfort of the powerful. Gelaman clung to life. He was rushed to the hospital, his body fighting against the odds. News of the attack spread like wildfire. People gathered outside the hospital, their faces etched with worry and anger. Days turned into nights. The air hung heavy with anticipation. Gelaman's condition remained critical. The world watched and waited, praying for a miracle. The news came like a hammer blow. Gelaman Wazir was dead. The poet, the activist, the voice of a generation was gone. His voice silenced forever. Grief swept through the Pashtun community. People took to the streets, their cries of anguish echoing through the air. They mourned the loss of their hero, the man who dared to speak truth to power, the man who had given them hope.
I have lost a friend, a comrade, a brother. But amidst this grief, I know that Gelaman's legacy must live on. I vow to continue the fight for justice and equality.
The Pakistani government denied any involvement in Gelaman's death. But for the Pashtun people, there was no doubt. They knew that their beloved poet had been silenced for speaking out against injustice. Finding his voice. From village boy to revolutionary poet. Gelaman Wazir was born in Waziristan, a region scarred by conflict and violence. He witnessed firsthand the suffering of his people. The drone strikes, the military operations, the disappearances. These experiences left an indelible mark on his young mind. Gelaman found solace in poetry. He began writing as a teenager, pouring his pain and anger into his verses. He wrote about the injustices faced by the Pashtun people, the brutality of the Pakistani state, the yearning for peace. He joined the Pashtun Tahaffuz movement, a grassroots organization fighting for the rights of the Pashtun people. The PTM provided him with a platform to share his poetry with a wider audience. His words resonated with the youth, who saw in him a reflection of their own struggles. Verses of Defiance. Gelaman's poetry and the Pakistani state. Gelaman's poetry was a direct challenge to the Pakistani establishment. He criticized the military's iron grip on the region, the enforced disappearances, the extrajudicial killings. He accused the government of treating the Pashtun people as second-class citizens. Gelaman Wazir. My poems are filled with raw emotion, pain, anger, and a deep love for my people. They are a call to action, urging the Pashtun youth to stand up for their rights. I call for an end to the violence, for justice, for equality. Gelaman's boldness came at a price. He was arrested and detained several times by the authorities. He was tortured, threatened, and intimidated, but he refused to be silenced. Gelaman's legacy, an unfinished song. Gelaman Wazir's death sent shockwaves through the Pashtun community and beyond. His murder was a stark reminder of the dangers faced by those who dare to challenge the status quo in Pakistan. Yet, his death also served as a rallying cry. Thousands attended his funeral, chanting slogans for justice and vowing to continue his struggle. His poetry continues to inspire, his words echoing through the generations. Pashtun Movement member. Gelaman's legacy is one of courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment to justice. He may be gone, but his voice lives on, a beacon of hope in a region scarred by conflict. His unfinished song will continue to be sung, a testament to the enduring power of words and the indomitable spirit of the Pashtun people.